Hello, this is Benjamin Beaver with Coldwell Banker, and today I'm drinking coffee with Laura Lacy with Angelo Appraisals to answer some hard-hitting questions about home values and the appraisal process. Today we're talking about cost versus value. So an example is, a lot of times we get people that, we work with people who feel like, well, I put so much into the house, so therefore the house should be worth that much more. Or, I just did this improvement or that improvement, like say someone put in a pool and it cost $20,000. So the thought comes in, well, my house is now worth $20,000 more because that's what I spent on the pool. So can you shed some light on, is that true? Is it partially true? What's your take on that?
Sure, Benjamin. Sometimes, not all the times, but sometimes cost does not equate to market value.
Okay.
And if you want a swimming pool and you really want it, great.
Right.
You can spend, $50,000, $75,000 on a pool with the
Right.
decking and landscaping, but not all the time will you get your money back. Not all
Okay.
the time will you get your return on your investment because the market won't actually appreciate that amount. It will only
Okay.
appreciate a small amount of that in San Angelo typically because swimming pools aren't typical and some buyers aren't looking for them at all. So
Okay.
you may not get all your money back if you decide to put in a swimming pool.
Right.
Or another example is a barn.
Okay.
Barns can be very expensive. Concrete is very expensive right now, and so is
Mhm.
steel. And barns can get up there $50,000, $60,000, and I'm not going to make a $60,000 adjustment on an
Right.
appraisal report
Right.
because the market does not tell me to make a $60,000 adjustment.
Right.
Typically, it's going to be more in the $10,000 to $20,000 range
Okay.
when I'm adjusting for a shop.
Yeah, so you do have a value that you can assign, say, for a pool, for a barn, but it's not always a direct comparison, and probably usually not a direct comparison with what somebody spent on it.
That's correct.
Another thing that we were talking about earlier is something about, a water heater or, some of these systems that all houses have. And if someone, say, just spent money to replace one, that doesn't mean the home is now worth that much more.
Right. If you put in a $500 water heater, you can't expect to get $500 more on a contract price or on a purchase price
Right.
because the buyer expects that mechanical system to be in place and be working. They're not going
Right.
to pay extra for a brand new one.
Right. So, a question people probably have is, well, are there improvements to make to a house that have a, higher percentage on cost versus value? Someone's thinking about putting their house on the market. They've got some projects they may do, may not do. Do you find that there's certain ones that do better with that?
Sure. As you know from listing homes, definitely kitchens and bathrooms.
Right.
If you put money into those rooms, you typically will get a lot of your money out,
Okay.
90, 95%
Yeah.
on kitchens and bathrooms. But remember, you have to keep in mind, you have to pick materials that will be attractive to the
Right.
to the masses.
Broad appeal.
That's right, broad
Yeah.
appeal.
Okay. Right. So, say someone spends $10,000 on a blue granite countertop. That doesn't mean we can now charge $10,000 more. With that example, the buyer may feel like they need to rip the thing out, and so that might have some kind of negative value. But
Exactly.
okay, so to sum it up, cost doesn't always equal value. So value is assigned based on what a buyer is willing to pay, not necessarily on the cost of the improvements. So keep that in mind with any improvements you're thinking about making to your home. I think, like you were saying, make them because you want them, not necessarily because you're looking to sell.
Right. If
And-
you want to enjoy a swimming pool,
Right.
please go ahead.
But if you do make the improvements with selling in mind, make improvements that have broad appeal, and try to do them inexpensively if possible. If you have any more questions about appraisals or home valuation, our contact information is at the end of this video.